Welcome to this week's video. Just getting ready for tomorrow's trip. Sort of lastminute.com really, with the amounts of rain that we've had for the past few weeks. My local venue in Wales, you just can't get to the heights. So I'm looking at the weather and it looks as if tomorrow morning we're going to have just a couple of hours of, till midday at least, some clear weather. Winds are going to be quite light, so I'm hoping for the Bearded Tits or the Reunions. It's going to be my winter project, and the way it's going probably going to be for the next couple of winters. They're quite difficult to get. I'm seeing quite a few flying around. As soon as they hit the reeds, they just bury themselves down. So I think it's going to be quite a long-term project, but the big advantage of going there is the fact that you can then have the other wading birds that you can observe, and along with the short-eared owls. So it's quite a nice venue. It's pretty close. So yeah, let's see what comes. I timed my arrival just as the sun rose, and as promised, it's a lovely, clear morning with a real subtle breeze, so my hopes were quite high. The first birds that I saw were these reed buntings, carefully balancing on the reeds and feeding on their seeds. You can see how the reeds just managed to support their weight. And as I looked at this bunting stripping the seeds from the reeds, just couldn't help but think that what a wonderful view it will be when I finally see the bearded tits. When the bearded tits do arrive, they seem to announce themselves with an interesting call, more like a sort of pinging noise. Unfortunately, I saw several birds, a small flock. They just disappeared very quickly down into the reeds and then lifted off and flew across the reserve. I think this is going to take a bit of investment in time. The forecast was for the day to cloud over in the early afternoon, but fortunately the sun shone quite nicely and the owls came out much earlier than last week. But this time they flew across the open field, and what I found interesting, but they swooped across the ground and made very few attempts at capturing prey. So I wondered whether, with all this rain, the water levels are slightly higher and they're finding it much more difficult to capture their prey. after about 15-20 minutes, I came back across the southern part of the reserve, did a few circuits, and then flew off across the water away from me. One must assume to find another site where they stand a greater chance of catching prey. As the short-eared owls drifted off across the water, I was left with the company of these stone chats. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, give it a big thumbs up, like and subscribe. And as always, it'd be great for you to join me in the next one.